How's it going there, folks? It's Mr. Zan over here with a brand new Digimon Tree discussion. And for today's episode, I'll be talking about Digimon Tree, the reunion, part 3. And yes, folks, this episode was fairly light and fairly comical, you could say. As they show, this episode is more of a slice of life kind of genre, as they kind of introduce more and more characters, and they kind of focus on individual characters as well, and their past stories, and they're kind of socialized, as you could say. But that's about it throughout the whole entire episode, because the fact that all the battle scenes were in the first 2 episodes, and now it's just kind of like you could say the like right before the climax of another arc or another battle scene. It's just like slowly going its up and down curves of storytelling wise. And in here we can clearly see that this episode was just very much pure in dialogue, you could say. I don't know about you folks. I sometimes love dialogue episodes because of the fact that it continues the story, and if you're really enjoying the episode itself, you'll fly through these episodes. And this episode itself, the dialogue was important because of the fact that we are all still interested in what's going on with the Digidestined. What are they doing right now? What are their social lives? Or do they have girlfriends? Are they have careers, or are they doing something as a new hobby? Just trivial stuff that you might want to know about, because the fact that they're older now, so they'll have more experiences and just more time to do for themselves outside of just fighting evil doers and saving the world. And that's what I kind of enjoy too at the same time. Now, folks, in the episode, we're also introduced to the character Daigo Nishijima. Daigo Nishijima. I'm sorry, folks. I'm sorry if I couldn't pronounce it right, but yes, this guy. He actually, we get more involved with him, and we get to know more that he actually is involved with Genai. I don't know if you guys remember Genai, folks, back from the season 1, where he was helping the Digidestined overcome some trials, helping them on their quests. Yes, folks. Now Genai is back. He was just mentioned in this episode. He wasn't really explained as to how long he might have been helping the humans, because of the fact that these like special force that they're dealing with the Digimon, Genai is actually giving them information about the Digidestined, about the Digimon that are plaguing the human world, and you're just here kind of wondering, like, wait a minute, Genai's been involved on this. You're wondering how long has this been going on then, and they actually episode kind of focus on that they've been knowing ever since the incident back with it was Agumon and versus I forgot it was like the giant bird and parrot Digimon were actually facing off in the human world. I believe it's ever since that time, or it could have been a little bit earlier than that as well. But the fact is that Genai's been involved with the humans ever since. And Genai's even been giving information to the humans about the Digidestined, which kind of surprised the Digidestined at the fact that that like they felt like they were keeping a secret for no apparent reason, when their secret was already exposed to the world, and they're just kind of they're just flustered at the fact that why weren't they involved, or why weren't they told about this as well. And I personally thought to myself, why aren't they kept in the loop? Why are always the Digidestined kept in the shadows? If they're so important, why keep them out of it? And that's what I kind of find a little bit annoying in this episode, was the fact because of that. Why didn't they involve them with the Digimons and the government, and all that kind of stuff? Why didn't they involve them with that? That's what I kind of find irritating at the same time. But nonetheless, that's not what the whole episode was about. A lot of the episode was also involved, like I said before, with the socialize. And this time, this episode kind of involved the love interest between Izzy and Mimi. And I kind of personally found that very comical throughout the whole entire episode, as it's showing that there's going to be a love interest instead of, because back in the original Digidestined, in the first season, if I remember correctly, there wasn't really that much love interest, because they were too young, and they were just focused on fighting and doing major battles. But now that they're a little older, and they have their hormones in check, they actually have, they're kind of focusing on the fact with showing Izzy and Mimi's interest. And even all the Digidestined are kind of noticing Izzy does fall for Mimi, because of the fact that Mimi has become more attractive, and Izzy, he's kind of like, you could say he's like not a social outcast. He's just like an introvert, and he actually he notices like a very hot woman. He kind of gets flustered, and I personally found that kind of funny, because I never expected that out of Izzy, since he's very smart and he's very talented in what he does and in his work, and he's been through so much danger. I would expect him, to be honest, to be able to handle anything. I mean, after tackling Digimon back when he was young, nothing should surprise him. But apparently, women are like the monsters that he will never be able to overcome. Apparently, and that's what I found hilarious, though. Like I said before, the episode was very comical in a sense, and I also enjoyed the fact that they're also showing the characters. You could say when they argue now, they're not as necessarily how they argue back in the original, just in the Digimon series where they actually argued and they punched and fight. No, 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 no. This time they actually took more of a mature manner, and actually they all talked it out, and they didn't really bump fists, as you could say. They kind of more along the line went and say, you know what, hold on, there's a reason why I don't offer, or I'm not entitled to your opinion because of so and so and so. And I love that about, and it's Matt and and Ty, if I remember correctly. These two were always butting heads back in Ridge Digidestined, and this time, no. Sorry, folks, they actually were very mature, and I love how they were actually retracting. It seems that Matt is not aware of what's really going on. He's not looking at the overall picture. What Matt was overlooking in this episode was the fact that, Digimon are coming into the human world, and he says, you know what? Yes, take up arms and defend it. But Ty's viewpoint is more along the line as, no, he is with Matt's decision, but at the same time he's saying, no, I'm not going to do that because of the fact that we have to remember the repercussions that's going to be involved at the same time. Because what Ty wants to do is he wants to take the fight back at home. He doesn't want to do it in the human world because he understands that someone could get killed, and he does not want that on his conscience. Matt has not seen that picture, and he's just saying, no, just go straight to the battle, no thinking, just delete your opponent at all. And that's what I'm loving, the fact that, like I said, these characters are becoming very much aware of what's really at stake here, and they're not just driving themselves into a battle without no thinking, of course. And I love that. Like I said, this episode was very entertaining. Like I said, it was just pure dialogue, but at the same time, it was dialogue that actually kind of focused the story and moved the story forward as well. And I love that. It was very entertaining and very interesting. And we also get to see that, though, we actually get to be involved more. If I remember, I forgot his name. It was Joe, if I remember. Yes, it was Joe. Joe is actually involved in more in this episode, and they kind of showcase that, yes, he is studying a lot. He's studying a lot. But because of the fact that he's not going to, I could see that he clearly is not going to be involved that much since he's kind of focusing on school. But maybe they're probably going to try to do something with his character involved within like an important section where he will have to be involved in the action. Because he's kind of focusing on his career path and not really focusing on the danger itself. I feel like he's kind of seeing it more the fact that, this doesn't have to necessarily involve me. If each of you can do it, then, then you guys handle it without my care. He's being responsible for himself. As you can see, he's kind of being more selfish, you could say. He's responsible, but he's being more selfish. And if you think about it, it's not really at his kind of fault, you could kind of say. It's just the fact that he's kind of taking care of his well-being, He's kind of looking in the future. He can't just always be like, oh, let me just save the world and, forget about my actual career path. It kind of makes sense why Joe would kind of be like that too at the same time. But like I said, folks, episode was wonderful. There was another scene I kind of want to talk about too. There was if I remember correctly, there's a Digimon that keeps popping up. It's like furry, has like a scarf. He keeps popping up every single episode. I'm not kind of confused the fact that I don't know who he is, but he seems to pop up whenever there's a Digimon presence around. And I'm assuming that this Digimon is also the one involved with the infected Digimon. And yes, folks, the reason I say infected is because of the fact that Daigo actually mentioned that these Digimon that are coming into the human world are infected Digimon, and these infected Digimon seem to be much stronger than the regular Digimon. So that's why I'm assuming that this new Digimon that they kind of mentioned has to be involved with this. I'm assuming it has to do with the X antibody. But I know it's like something new with the Digimon series, X antibody, which kind of like makes new forced evolutions and stuff and such. I'm assuming they're gonna go along the route with that, because if I know X antibody Digimon are kind of like, if I remember correctly, they're much stronger than the average Digimon. So can't wait to kind of see what they're gonna do with the story, with if they're gonna bring the X antibodies back into the story. And also, can't forget, there's a new character named Mako Mochizuko, if I remember correctly. Meiko Mochoziko. Yes, folks. This new character is I personally suspect that she might be a new character because of the fact that the way she was kind of involved, but her character kind of seemed out of balance out of all the Digidestined. To me, it feels like she's too shy, like a little child, like not really a necessary teenager, just like a very much introverted version of Izzy. It's like Izzy's like opposite self, but for like any kind of social group. And I kind of find it like this is gonna be part of the main cast. Like I feel like what's gonna happen if she gets involved in an immediate danger? I'm assuming it's probably because of the fact that she's been living a normal teenager life, that she's not been involved with any kind of danger at all, so that maybe that's why she's kind of like a little awkward and shy around people. They're teenagers, so what can we say? They're that she's living a normal life, and all these people from the original Digidestined, they already lived most of their dangers and they got their own action out of it. So now nothing really scares them. But Meiko's character, it's cute and all, but after a while, I'm gonna wonder if the creators are gonna go along the route and actually improve her character. You could say. I'm hoping they improve her character. I hope she doesn't stay shy the whole time. And also, is she gonna be connected with the original Digidestined? Because of the fact that whenever there's a new character that's involved with the Digidestined, I'm also wondering if they're actually like gonna involve or give them a Digimon too. But I don't know yet. She could just be just a secondary side character for all I know right now at this moment. But that's about it for today's segment, folks. Like I said, I enjoyed the episode very much. Like I said, just pure dialogue, just a little bit of action, you could say. But it's a very informative episode too. At the same time, as we get to see, and these infected Digimon have been plaguing the human world for quite a while. But that's it for today's episode, folks. Let me know down in the section below what you guys thought about this episode. And as always, folks, if you enjoy my content, don't forget to subscribe. But this is Mr. Zen signing out.